Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another exciting episode. And today we are visiting one of the most popular neighborhoods in Nairobi City that goes by the name Baba Dogo, which is loosely translated to Little Dad or Small Dad, quite a fancy name. And in less than a minute, we'll be hitting the town center. In fact, I can see it from where I sit. It is right in front of me. We are going to explore the neighborhood and see how the people live and how businesses are faring. I will also be giving you some interesting statistics about the area, so stay hooked until the end. And although this is my first time here, I have just noted that this is not your ordinary neighborhood. In fact, it is super industrialized. There are tens of industries all over, which is quite commendable. Well, the first time I heard about this neighborhood was through an article from a popular media house in the country, which, to my shock, was highlighting how bedbugs had become a major issue to Baba Dogo residents. Well, that was about 10 years ago, but we'll still delve deeper into the issue and see whether the problem still persists as we go around the town. But in the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Baba Dogo. Well, I can see some really nice blue minivans, and that tells you that we are right in Baba Dogo's bus terminus. And in case you didn't know, that is the theme color for all the public transport vehicles plying Nairobi Baba Dogo's route. So in case you find yourself in the city and spot such buses or minivans painted blue, just hop inside. It will bring you right here. Well, I feel like whoever came up with that idea was a super genius, because despite distinguishing PSV's vehicles plying this route from all the others in the city, color blue is beautiful too. Well, I can also see businesses are thriving all over, even on the roadside. In fact, I just passed a big market for bed sheets on my left, although I'm not quite sure whether they were bed sheets or carpet, but they were beautiful. It seems like all colors were represented. And I want to turn left as I want to go deeper into the neighborhood. I'm sure I'll get a glimpse of the residential area. I want to see how people live, the kind of houses they live in, generally their social standards, and so far so good. And remember, I told you that this is one of the most industrialized area in the city. In fact, I'm told that behind these high walls on my left is one Chandaria Industries, which is one of the biggest manufacturers in East and Central Africa. There is also another industry on my right. I'm not quite sure which one. You can see it all go downs. And one thing that is really getting my attention about this area is the relationship between the big industries and the small-scale traders. For instance, I can see these two small hotels on my left, which are right in front of the industry, Chandaria Industry. There is another semi-permanent structure here painted the beautiful flag of our country, our motherland. I can also see a small salon painted blue right in front. And all this tells you that although the place is industrialized, it is highly accommodative, especially to the low-income earners. And to me, this is super nice, since the city belongs to all of us, the rich and the poor, and so coexisting is the key. In fact, I'm told that the owner of the industry on my left, which is Chandaria Industry, is one of the richest Kenyan. In fact, he is in top 5, while right in front of his multi-billion dollars manufacturing business, there is another businessman or woman living from hand to mouth. Well, that's the misery of life. The question of existing has always been difficult. But let me move away from that topic before I start preaching here. But in the meantime, I want to turn around so that I can have a better look of the other side of the neighborhood. But so far so good. I'm enjoying myself here in Baba Dogo. Beautiful places, beautiful faces, And in case you have not noticed yet, almost all roads are well done. Well, let me give you today's date before I forget. It is on a weekend, Saturday to be precise, around 5:30 in the evening. The month of July, it's about to come to an end. It's 2024. It's very cold outside, but we're still getting some nice shots, thank God, even though there is no sun. But in the meantime, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, Village to Town TV, a channel that is dedicated to continue showcasing beautiful villages, towns, and cities across the continent of Africa. Just show some love by posting the video and giving us a subscription. It's absolutely free, but it is a big deal to us. So let us subscribe in 3, 2, 1. Thank you. Well, I want to quickly take you through the real estate segment before we tackle the elephant in the room, which is the issue of bed bugs. And it is good to know that almost everyone here rent houses because renting is way cheaper than owning a home. And one of the things that make it difficult to own a home right here in Baba Dogo is because it is quite difficult to find a plot of land where you can build your own house and settle. Well, this is because this is a highly developed area. Almost every plot is developed. It will be quite difficult to find an empty one here. And secondly, most owners are not willing to sell. Well, this might come as a surprise to many, but just because this place is a few kilometers from the city center, it means that Baba Dogo is highly commercially viable, meaning that you don't have to sell your land, but just develop it. You can build high-rise buildings and rent houses to residents, or build commercial shops and rent them to traders and still make your money. In fact, when I was going through the list of land for sale in the area, I realized that most of these plots are not the normal plots we are used to, 50 by 100s and quarters. Well, most of these plots were industrial plots, which are quite expansive and a bit expensive, especially when compared to the residential plot. In fact, I saw one which was on sale via the internet, 1.3 acres industrial plot, going for 270 million Kenyan shillings. That's about 2 million in US dollars. I also saw another one, 1.7 acres, but this one had a newly built warehouse, precisely a 4-story building, and it was going for 950 million Kenya shillings. Also, a good number of these warehouses are up for rent, so in case you want to establish an industry, this is the place to be. And a quick look at the market price. The average rent per month is between 300,000 and 600,000 Kenya shillings, which is roughly between 2,500 and 4,500 US dollars per month. Anyway, to rent a residential apartment, you need between 15,000 and 25,000 Kenya shillings. That is for a 2-bedroom apartment. And the difference in prices for the same unit results from the fact that some houses are near the main road, while others are a bit interior. Also, the house condition differs significantly, as some houses are a bit old, while others are new. Remember, Baba Dogo is not a new estate. It has been in existence for more than 50 years. And to get a bed sitter or a studio apartment, you will need between 6,000 and 10,000 Kenya shillings per month. There are also pockets of slums in the neighborhood. In fact, some of the most popular slums in Nairobi are just around. For instance, there's one called Gomongo and another one that goes by the name Korogocho, which is actually the third largest slum in Kenya, is only a walking distance from here. And that tells you that you can get a cheap house around, especially if you are starting life with between 2,000 and 3,000 Kenya shillings per month. You can still survive around. While other neighboring estates include Mathare North, Kariobangi, and Lakisama. And that reminds me that I did a video on Lakisama It is on this channel. You can go and watch it out after watching this one. It's quite an interesting place. And as I told you earlier, I learned about the existence of this neighborhood through the media about 10 years ago. And unfortunately, it was not in a good way, as there was a big concern among the residents about the infestations of bedbugs. Well, that caught my attention, especially due to the fact that the issue was highlighted by one of the biggest mainstream media in the country, and that is the Standard Media Group. In fact, the Standard newspaper published at least 5 articles about the issue. Well, aside with the bedbug issue, I can clearly see the Outer Ring Road. It's right ahead of me. It is the road that connects Thika Superhighway and Mombasa Road. Unfortunately, I'm not planning to go past this point. I have to turn around. In fact, those tall buildings you see on the other side of the road, that is Mathare North, another neighborhood. And in fact, someday I'll take you there. Now back to the bedbug shenanigans. And of course, those of you who happen to be around this place in 2010, in fact between 2010 and 2014, you can tell us down on the comment section below whether this was true or the media was just spreading rumors. You know, sometimes the media can create stories. In fact, I'm told that the situation was so dire that at some point, the area MCA, together with other leaders, prompted the county government to declare the issue as an emergency so that they can get the resources and the support they need to tackle the issue. Of course, the problem of bedbug infestation is not new to the country. I remember there was a time back in the day in a college that is along the road. I will not give names since it is one of the biggest institutions in the country, and I don't want comrades to be on my neck. It also happened to be my alma mater, and so I'll just conceal the name just for the culture. Well, back then, most hostels in the main campus were bedbug infested. In fact, there was a small area called Nyao Zone, which was a group of hostels where comrades really suffered. Well, I hope the problem was addressed by the management since it has been years. But I also learned that the problem is not only in the country or in Africa for that case. It is a global issue affecting even the most developed countries in the world. In fact, as I was doing my background research on this, I came across a research study by an organization called Oakings. And what they were doing, they were ranking the 50 most bedbug infested cities in the United States. And to my surprise, Chicago was on top of the list for 4 years in a row, followed by New York and Philadelphia. Well, I hope the problem in Baba Dogo was solved. It's been years. In fact, it is about 10 years since then. And so if you come from this area or you are quite familiar with it, you can tell us down on the comment section below and we'll appreciate. You can also tell us whether or not you have encountered with bedbugs and what was your experience. Enough with that, and now I want to give you a few statistics about this area. And Baba Dogo has a total population of 20,392 people. 10,679 are men, while 9,711 are women. Of course, the gender gap is not that big, although it's a bit abnormal, since there are 1,000 more men than women, and you know in most cases women are more than men. And in terms of the population density, there are 18,761 people living in a square kilometer. The entire Baba Dogo area is not that big. In fact, it is only 1.1 kilometers squared, but it happens to be home to so many people. In fact, there are 8,000 households in the small area. Well, that's statistics for Baba Dogo sublocation. I'll give you more, but let me first purchase something here. There are some nice sweet potatoes here in the market. Niaje? Hizi ni ngapi? Na hizi? Salata hizo mbili, zile poa. Angalia zile poa kabisa. Asante. Anyway, it's been a minute since I saw white sweet potatoes, and I hope they'll be good. These are the kind of food for the old-timers like us. And of course, going on with the statistics, this is in Ruaraka Constituency, which is in Kasarani sub-county, and it has a total population of 780,656 people, with a population density of 9,056 people per square kilometer. That is in the sub-county, which is a bit low, especially when compared to the population density of Baba Dogo, which I told you was 18,761 people per square kilometer, while the population is changing at a rate of 4% per annum. Well, let me leave it at that. Please continue watching until the end, and please consider subscribing to this YouTube channel, Village to Town TV, a channel that is dedicated to continue showcasing beautiful villages, towns, and cities across the continent of Africa. Also consider liking the video so that it can be recommended to as many people as possible. Smash the notification bell so that every time we post, you'll be among the first few people to be notified. Also, a special thanks to Team Village to Town TV, those who watch all the video and like them. I appreciate you. And also keep the conversation alive down on the comment section below. Tell us, what do you think about today's video? What do you think about Baba Dogo? Will you consider living here? You can also tell us, where do you want us to visit next? Thank you.